But to get on our next topic, man, we got NCAA football is coming back, man. It's a great thing, man, because Madden is terrible. People are already talking about it. If they make this college football like Madden, we're gonna boycott it. We don't want no more Madden like games. Game is trash because you can make 7-foot wide receivers.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
Go.
Man,
Go.
Making your player be the kicker, the punter,
yeah.
defensive line.
This man raised a cheater. We ain't gonna get into that though. But we all excited for that. But the thing that comes with this is college players getting paid. How y'all fellas feel about that, man?
Are we
I'll go
for sure they're
first
getting
since
paid?
mine's quick.
Well, we aren't even gonna tie it into that game, but in general, like how should college athletes? I think we talked about this before, but we go into a little bit more depth of like how college players should get paid and should they and why and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep mine short.
Now go
I
ahead, say what
think,
you need to say. You ain't gotta
yeah,
keep it
nah,
short,
nah,
man.
yeah. I mean, yeah. But I think of course they should get paid. You know, the NCAA is making over millions over their names.
They making billions, bro. They ain't making
Yeah,
that. Them boys is
billions. Yeah, and they get not one penny. It's like slavery. If you gonna be honest, modern slavery.
Mm.
I think
say your
so.
truth, brother.
But yeah, them boys need to get paid. Freedom boys. That's all I gotta say.
I think one of the big. Oh, go ahead.
All right, so where I kind of want to go with it, and like me, shout out to my mom. We've had this argument for years, bro. So, and we've argued about this for 6 hours straight one time. You feel me? And one thing I will say is, and the point that my mom makes because she works for Ohio State is that they are getting scholarships. You feel me? Like the whole point of a college football player is to get a scholarship to go to school. You feel me? Football is really just an outlet. You feel me? It's something that you get to do. You earned.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel like the real problem is in terms of them getting paid is I think the NFL needs to make better ways for them to get into their league. You feel me? That's what a lot of them do anyway. Especially the people that are getting,
I didn't think of that.
especially the people that are getting paid. You feel me? The people that are really complaining about being paid, yo Justin Fields and you feel me, like Trevor Lawrence and stuff like that. People that are really bringing you revenue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They need to find better ways for those players to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
And not the NCAA, because the NCAA doesn't want to pay them, bro. They're already giving them scholarships, bro. Giving them extra money is really a privilege to me. But I do think they should make money off of their own likeness, though, as well.
Yeah.
Going on with your brother?
Good, Ricardo. He came just at the right time.
A lot of readings, you know.
Hey, right.
Reminds me of African American studies, man. It was like that. So
yeah.
I love that class, man. That's another day, but I love that class.
Ray to piggyback what you were saying, I think I agree because it's like I think with college football, because it's almost like the NFL's getting free auditions because they have to be out of the high school. Is it 3 years? Yeah. I don't like that. With basketball, at least it's one. It's 1 year you got to be out. I think because with football, there's more wear and tear on your body. Mm-hmm. You get damaged a lot more easier. You don't get to play as long with football as you do in basketball, unless it's like very selective and you got to be very rare to do things like that. I don't like that at all. I think if not 1 year, then two. Three is definitely pushing it. And I think they are just exploiting it. I mean, when you look at stuff like Ohio State, when you have 10,000 fans in the stands every game, on top of $10 water. Yeah. I mean, you can at least. Now, I think the problem that will be difficult is trying to balance out who gets what. I think that's the biggest problem because it's hard to be like, okay, well, he gets 5,000 and you get $10. Like, it's going to be hard to try and balance that out. But they definitely, I think they need to pay because they make them too much money.
I had to ask a question really quick.
Josh, go ahead.
Before Tyrell goes. Are when you say scholarship, that's everything, right? That's room and board, food, everything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what they do now, which is kind of difficult because I'm pretty sure the star athletes they give them a lot more tuition money than what they need, so then they get a big refund check back.
Okay.
I, I'm assuming that's how it happens to where they can get players to come to their school legally to
Mhm.
an extent without getting in trouble. Because I mean, let's be realistic. A Justin Fields or a Mac Jones or whoever, Devontae Smith, if they go out anywhere, whatever their college is, they ain't gonna have to pay for a meal. Somebody's gonna pay for it. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna have to worry about nothing. I mean, so I mean, and I just watched this documentary for my class about Maurice Claret. Like he got caught up in that situation, sort of thing, because it's like you come from nothing, and then you get here, and then you got all these grown people, 40, 50 year olds that want to hang out with you and want you to come to their barbecue and they want to pay for your meals and all that stuff and get you cars. Like that's weird, but that's just what comes with it. And it's hard for a kid to turn that down. So
Mhm.
it's a bunch of stuff in the background that we personally don't know to the full extent. But if I had to take a guess, the top players are getting taken care of. It's just not documented or nothing.
So what I'll say from my limited knowledge of this, if anybody wants to correct me on this, if I say something wrong, please do. Um, if I had if I had to make something up right now, I don't agree with what is going on in this current moment. I don't care what you are or who you are or what part of team you are. If you are the back end bench warmers or whatever, you need to be taken care of just like everybody else. I don't care if you are the starter or you're a guy who never plays, or you're just chilling out there, whatever. You're on the team, you get the same benefits. If
Mhm,
they're going to pay them, they should be paying them for things that other people couldn't do. If they are making jerseys with their name on it, or if they
mhm,
are putting things on, we'll just go off of something that probably never happens, but like cereal boxes or something like that.
mhm,
That is their own thing, and they can be paid extra for that. It
mhm.
happens. It
Right.
Hey,
happens the same way in NFL and everything like that. If you're, if you're a better player, you get a Geico
Mhm,
commercial, you get this and that, but the whole
mhm,
team doesn't make that money. You make that money.
mhm, mhm,
And the place that you're playing in, if we're going to the shoe or something like that, all the ticket sales that they make, all the drink money that they make, that's all theirs.
mhm,
They're paying for the game, they're paying to put it on television, whatever they do. That can be all theirs, that can be their money. No one needs to have that because none of the players are providing that or anything. But you as a player are providing yourself. You are playing for the
mhm,
team. So you get the money that comes out of if they're making money on you.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've seen so many times where you go to the store and there's jerseys with people's names on them, there's this and
Mhm,
that, there's this, and they don't get any of that, and none of the
mhm,
players can do anything with that. There's play if you can't go on YouTube and talk about like what it's like and this and that, and that's
mhm.
that's not cool. If
Right.
a person on a college football team, doesn't matter if it's Ohio State or not, wants to start a YouTube channel and be like, hey, we just had practice, that's dope, like here's what's going on, like obviously don't excuse me,
Right. Your
pull off
game
like
plan and
right,
whatnot.
exactly,
Yeah.
but it's just like, hey, like I just threw the football with this and this guy, whatever,
Right.
that's your right as a
Right.
player, you know
Right.
um, but yeah, especially with this game, it's just like you're gonna use their names, you're gonna use their faces, their likeness. I'm assuming that it's gonna be graphically up to par with everything else, so they're gonna have to do
Right.
mocap with all these people. They should be
Mhm,
paid for that. They're gonna use their
mhm,
voices and all this stuff like that. That is their game. That is their person. They get paid for that, just like a voice actor
mhm,
would. It's a
mhm,
job at the end of the day. And if the people
mhm,
that aren't really in the game or they don't need their mocap or whatever because they're not that big of a player or blah 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 this and that, you don't have to pay them. That's fine, but you need to make sure that they're taken care of. They need to be able
mhm,
to play. Their whole dedication should be football. If you're playing football in
mhm,
college, most of the time it's not for a hobby.
mhm,
It's you're not playing the sport to be like, I'll do this in college and then
mhm,
I'll drop off.
mhm.
Especially a big team like Ohio State. You play for Ohio State to be the best. You want to be in the
Right.
NFL.
And
That's
you
what
want to
your
try and
dream
make it.
is.
Yep.
So the
Mhm,
school should take care of everything for you. You need to focus on grades and football, and that's it. You don't need to focus on getting a job for food. You don't need to focus on, finding out how to get a car, whatever it may be, a place to live, anything like that. Everything should be taken care of you. Your goal is to get good grades, get out and get into the NFL. And I agree with Ray. Make it easier, get some more scouts in there, even for the little guys who are doing work on the football field, but they may not get as much recognition, because it takes a full team to play a football game. You can't play with just a quarterback, you can't play with just a wide receiver. They'll die, so it's just like these people need some more resources. They don't give it to them for free. They have to work for it. I mean, but like at least give them the resources that they need to get themselves out there, but that's my 2 cents on it. Again, I don't know too much about NCAA. I don't know what their pay grades are. I don't know what they pay players for and what they don't, if they pay them at all. I don't know what benefits they get other than what Ray explained to us. But that's my take on it.
Right. Oh, and before anybody gets to the next topic, we got to take a round of applause. We got a full house. This is the first time in history all 6 of us are here. We're making history.
Yes, sir. We're doing it. Shut up late. We still got to show up.
Hey, you here. Showing up. Shit. What was I about to say? Yeah, we here, man. Shit. So now we got to figure out how to do this because there's a lot of it. So we got Tyrell's opinion and Ricardo, then Cam.
All right, you went.
No, Tyrell went first.
You already went? All right, yeah, cool. All right, Ricardo, then Cam.
Ricardo, I already know you got a lot to say about this. So I'm gonna keep mine brief. All right. I agree completely with Josh. I don't know too much about the NCAA's policies. I do agree that if your likeness is put out there, you should be paid for that likeness. Simple as that. I understand. OSU. They provide the stadium. They have all that. They provide concessions. They sell the tickets like that. But they're the product. I think they should at least get like a cut of ticket sales, because that's what they're showing up to see. But other than that, that's all I gotta say.
That's a good point. It's like without them players, then you don't have shit.
Exactly.
They're coming to see them players. So yeah.
But the football program at O State helps fund every other program at the school.
Right. Right. Yeah, and they pay for a lot of stuff that outside the school too, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's tough. Charge more, like people still gonna show up. People still gonna show up. Stop lying. People still gonna show up.
That is true. People will pay more money for it. That is true.
You take a little extra $5 on them tickets. Go ahead, Ricardo.
No, I mean, so I just hopped in, and I think because we previously hinted on it before. I think it was about maybe 6 episodes ago. It was just like, do you think these double athletes should get paid? I think there's 2 facets you talk about. So there's the name, image, and likeness, and then there's an base salary, right? So I believe that they should personally get both, but let's just focus on the name, image, and likeness because one step at a time. I'll tell you guys 2 stories. So one is Drew Crispin. He's our punter. He just got selected to be in the NFL Combine. Basically, he was a good bottle flipper, right? Like he was good at flipping bottles when it was very popular. He would do it a lot in his spare time. He would make YouTube videos about it. And he was so good, this water bottle company was like, hey, man, you want to show off and endorse our water? And he said, no, the NCAA won't allow it. You know what I mean? And you talk about Jim Trussell. Jim Trussell was forced to resign because these players who won their memorabilia sold it so they could produce shoes, right? It was their own product that they worked hard and invested in. You know what I mean? Then you look at guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ron Artest. They're giving away their championship rings and the NBA doesn't care. Yeah. Because it's your stuff. But the university is salty. They feel like you're not above the university and stuff like that. But it's like at the end of the day, the players earned their right to have money for their name, image, and we could keep debate. I mean, I could go back again.
I think we all agree. I think we all agree.
One of my favorite stories that I've ever covered is the Fab Five. I can't stand that team up north. But if you dive deep into the Fab
Five, got hold. Yeah.
Oh, they had so much culture and they had so much memorabilia that people just exploited. Like, it was insane. But the moment that Chris Webber and a couple other folks took money, they portrayed them like they were the bad guys. What do you mean? Not only was the Fab Five hated every day, but you still watched them play, especially when they was playing Christian Laettner and them Duke boys. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it'll be hard. It's not going to be easy, especially with multiple states just now starting to do it. California was the first state that started this conversation of paying their players for name, image, and likeness, and a couple other states have followed suit. Ohio is not one of them. Texas is not one of them, right? And those are states that are really good in football. But the whole problem is that multiple states have to do it so you can come to some sort of, you know what I mean, conclusion. Because some schools get money from the government, some schools are public, you know what I mean? Some schools have higher revenue than others, some have more investments than others, more endorsements than others, more TV deals than others. So there has to be, it has to involve about what other states are doing. You know what I mean? And they're trying to pinpoint, okay, well, maybe Michigan's doing this, so maybe another Midwest school will do this, and things like that. They're all probably going to have to look at each other before they just independently do it themselves. Like, they have to look at what other schools are doing, try to bounce off ideas from that. And then let's just see what happens. You know, shout out to California. They were the first school to get this started. You know what I mean? Like, look at what California is doing. If they take something from that and do what you got to do, because every school, like I said, is different. So I highly doubt the NCAA is going to come up with a strict policy for all of these schools. There's gonna have to be some state legislation going into this. There's gonna have to be, or else there's just no.
Yeah, I agree.
And to be honest, you could use that as a recruiting tactic. At the end of the day, every school's goal is to win a natty. No matter what, the Rose Bowl, okay, cool. But the main goal is to win a national championship. You can use that as a recruiting tactic. You got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Right.
Hell, if Oregon was like, we're going to start paying our players, you don't think that'll persuade some players to want to come and play for that school?
Yeah.
Are allowed to get paid? Like, sometimes you just got to pay. And if winning is more important than anything else, because that brings so much. Winning the national championship brings so much alone. That'll bring more students to come to your school, because people will be like, oh, I want to go to that school where the football team is good. Like, not even athletes, like just students in general. So I think they need to make it happen. So for our next topic, though, we got the 9-year-old black girl that was handcuffed and pepper sprayed in the face. And what are our thoughts and reactions to that?
I mean, do we need to react? I mean, like,
I mean, just.
All right. So the first thing he said, I'm gonna just keep the ball rolling because I came in late, right?
Go ahead.
Let's start with the fact of this, and I love when Josh is here because he's starting to understand just a tiny sliver of what we have to go through every day. You can't.
I think you've been new.
I don't know.
Josh been down, man. You talking about?
Josh been there.
I'm thinking off of these podcast episodes because I don't know him that well yet. But guys, not only was she 9 years old, but she had mental health issues.
That's what the call. That's what the call. That's what they were there for. That's what the call is for.
No, police officers should not be there if you're having a mental health crisis. They are the last person that should respond to a mental health crisis, because they're only going to make it worse. Now this girl has to live with a traumatic experience of being pepper sprayed and handcuffed. Pepper sprayed and handcuffed.
Handcuffed.
Girl. Because she didn't.
She couldn't rub on her eyes.
Because she resisted arrest. Dude, what gives you the authority to even arrest a 9-year-old girl? For what?
I wonder what she did.
She was the cop was responding to the call, and it was just like, yeah, like, okay, is she a criminal? No. So why are you putting her in cuffs?
My question is, it's a kid. Why they threaten?
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, like, black, white, orange, yellow, like a 9-year-old kid.
Nine?
That's like what, third, fourth grade?
Kid,
man. The
9 years old is like third grade, bro.
Third grade, a
Fourth grade.
fourth
So-
grader.
Really quick before we keep going on this, because I just read the report and I'm not playing devil's advocate. I just did want to say, just for the sliver of a little bit of at least justice, it does seem like this is in Rochester, right? This is
Yeah,
in New York. Okay. All right. Right after this, the it looks like, let me see. Let me find it. Yeah, they talk about like the police body cam footage and the two cops that were involved. One was the chief and one was somebody riding with them, and it said that it was a family problem. That was the quote that they gave. um However, the city officials have already fired, and they're, I think the city, it's either the city officials or the family is pressing charges on both of them, and it's going through a lot quicker than
Okay.
what we've seen
Well,
in the
that's it.
past, which is not necessarily like, okay, this is a great thing, this completely
Mhm.
takes it off or whatever, but at least we're getting a little bit of a sliver of hope in this sort of thing, where it's like something like this
Accountability.
happens
It's
because,
plainly wrong, and
right,
we can all
we
agree.
know that it's plainly wrong at this point. There doesn't have to be a discussion or something
Mhm.
about it. This is just disgusting. This is something that shouldn't, these people there, in my personal opinion, there shouldn't even be a trial. They should just be in jail at this point. But
Right.
not suspending people anymore and not being like, well, we're going to put them on suspension with pay or whatever. It's like, no, you're fired and we're pressing charges on you.
Yeah.
It
That's
goes immediate to court, which is not it's a step in the right direction, is what
Mhm.
is what is coming out here. But it's like, this is what's sad to me. This report is literally saying, well, we don't know what the race of the 9-year-old girl is, as if that's important.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, like,
9 years old in general.
right, everybody would, it would be more up in arms, obviously, because we've been having this problem in the community in general. But I mean, like, why does it matter? It's a 9-year-old. Doesn't matter if she's white, black, Mexican, Asian, or whatever. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing to do to a child, but it's just like, at this point, this is what is getting news. It's just like, well,
Mhm.
was the girl black? Because if the girl was black, then we got something to cover. And it's like, no, it was a 9-year-old that I'm just being informed had mental problems in the first place, and the fucking call was family trouble. It's literally in quotes in the police report. And it's like, what does that even mean? What police officer would respond to a call that is just, yeah, it's family troubles at this house? It's like, no, there's more detail involved in that.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, to
Yeah.
the point where you're pepper spraying and handcuffing a child. There's got to be some more behind that, even if
Yeah.
this 9-year-old girl, like, for some reason had a knife in her hand or something like that. I mean, like, it's a 9-year-old. How hard is it for a grown man to take advantage of a 9-year-old and put them on the ground? You don't need to put them in handcuffs and restrain them like they're a 6'5" tall ass dude with 250 pounds weighing on him. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
like, it's a kid. I was 9 years old at one point. We all were. We know that we were weak at 9. No one
we
here
thought
is
we
like,
were big shit.
right,
We thought
exactly.
we
You think
were.
you're hot shit, but you're not. But I mean, like, this kid should have been able to do whatever the fuck they wanted, and they still should not have done. I cannot even fathom an idea of where that would be necessary, unless if the girl had a gun or something like that, where they really felt like they were endangered for their lives,
Mhm.
and they needed to do something.
She had nothing but herself.
She had nothing but
That-
herself.
I mean, that's just. I don't.
That don't
I
seem
mean,
real.
Like you said, yeah. I mean, it's.
Sounds like a
I
joke,
mean,
honestly. Like, I don't know,
yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
surreal.
I mean,
Like, bro, me and my uncle, my mom, we were having a conversation about this, like when all the riots and stuff was happening, and one of the main points I was trying to drive home to them was kind of what you were saying, Josh. Nothing is going to change until police see that they can't do whatever they want to, like, and get away with it. Like, if you continue to let them off the hook from shooting people and doing this and that, they're going to keep doing it because they know that they can get off for it. Like, even if you do got to make an example out of somebody, like, you can't keep on letting these people get away with doing whatever they want to just because they feel like they have power. The more you let them get away with, the more power they feel like they have. And that's just police as a whole, from state to state, from the East Coast to the West Coast. It doesn't matter. They're gonna feel like they have power.
Right.
You keep on letting them do stuff. It's just simple as that.
and we'll keep going. I just wanted to read you guys the report, just so that you guys have a little bit more back.
Go ahead.
And it was saying that officers were called to a home on the afternoon of January 29th for a report of a family trouble. The officers were told the girl was suicidal and that she had indicated that she wanted to kill herself and she wanted to kill her mom. The girl tried to flee from the officers, and video released by police shows an officer chase her in an attempt to provide assistance. Afterwards, he said her mother arrived and the body camera video shows the two arguing. Anderson said officers then decided to remove the child from the situation and transport her to an area hospital, but the girl refused to get inside the police vehicle, thrashed around, and kicked an officer, knocking his body camera around. According to Anderson, it seems like is the deputy. I guess that was also fired. It didn't appear as if she was resisting the officers. She was trying not to be restrained to go to the hospital. Anderson said, as the officers made numerous attempts to try to get her in the car, an officer sprayed the young child with OC spray to get her in the car. The body camera video shows the girl repeatedly crying out for her father while being physically restrained by officers. She is seen screaming before her head is held down against the snow-covered ground and is handcuffed. A struggle ensues between the girl and the officers as they attempt to get her inside the back of the police vehicle. At one point, one officer says, "You're acting like a child." And then she responds with, "I am a child." Later in the video, a female officer is seen talking to the girl, eventually saying, "This is your last chance. Otherwise, pepper spray is going into your eyeballs." About a minute later, another officer can be heard saying, "Just spray her at this point." The female officer is seen shaking a can that appears to be pepper spray, and the child continues to scream. The officer involved in the incident were not identified by police, nor were the child or her mother. Anderson said on Sunday he was not making any excuses for what transpired and that the department is looking at a culture change, in quotes. The department is in the process of reviewing many policies and looking to make changes, according to Anderson.
I'm sure
She changed my ass.
I'm sure she's less suicidal after that experience.
That's
and you know what?
crazy.
I bet that cop feels real brave and tough after threatening a 9-year-old
Back
girl.
the boys in blue. You know, that dangerous 9-year-old was a threat. You know, handcuffs,
Oh my God.
still kicking. What else could you do in that situation? I can't think of anything else.
I can't either.
You
Have
know?
y'all seen the video?
No,
Yeah, I seen it on Twitter. I seen it.
I ain't seen the video.
no.
Bro, this shit
Doesn't matter at this point.
I mean,
mean, like-
this shit is just sick. I mean,
Let's.
Bro.
Well, I don't care. Let's do this.
We have before I end this, we have another generation of babies that have to experience police brutality. This is
Yep.
another
Yep.
generation, people. I'm 21 years old, right? This person is 9. So now we
Yep.
have another generation that has to deal with this. When's it going to stop?
I don't know, man. They beat the dog shit out of Rodney King, man, and ain't shit changed since then.
yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's see what we got.
I mean, this shit is out of hand.
Imagine if that was your daughter, Kyler, and she's crying out. Imagine.
I mean, yeah,
Shit, I would have
y'all
got
know-
arrested too. Fuck.
Yeah, for
Might have been
real.
shot.
Yeah.
Ain't even wearing a mask.
Right.
Neither of them.
Not even wearing a mask.
I mean,
Hey, again, this is disturbing.
Look at how he's putting his body weight all over her.
Mm-hmm.
look at all those cops, though. How many
Bro,
cops does it take
How
for
many
a
fucking cops to
9-year-old?
restrain a 9-year-old?
Yeah. How many cops? And then on top of that, she's already in the fucking car. Why are we pepper spraying her? She's already
Oh
in the
my-
goddamn
Yeah,
vehicle.
there were 6 cops.
Right. There's
6.
6 people standing around her. And I mean, like, let me take a freeze frame. Oh my God, man. Like, I don't care about the news reporter, but look, she's already in the vehicle. What are we spraying her for?
So and let's not forget that one cop with the body cam recording. So that's one. There's the female
Right.
across.
There's this bitch.
So that's two.
Two people with pepper spray, and then there's, let's see how many more. Let's count them. We got one. I see one behind there. I see another one. That's two right there.
Yep. Look, it's going to show.
1, 2,
Look.
3, 4, 5 with the body cam.
Just in case he tries anything, you know, got to be on the safe side with 6 fucking
Six.
officers.
I saw
No,
6.
there was
Yeah,
more.
I saw
Did you
6.
see?
Yeah, yeah, man. That it's
Fucking
crazy,
what,
dude.
one for each year?
Ridiculous.
Like, god damn.
I mean,
Right.
but it's tough, bro.
One for each day of the week.
But I mean, it's oh my lord. I mean,
It's disgusting, man.
there's got to be some serious changes. I mean,
Bro, and
It's
like
repulsive, man, because not one of them is like, hey, we doing too much. Not one of them.
Yeah, nobody even held their breath or was like maybe took a step back. Like
And
nobody, they just like they was just going through a procedure. Like it is what it is.
reading through this police report, 2 people are at fault for this. There's 6 people there, and 2 people are at fault. That's it. I
Yeah,
take back what I
that's
said.
tough.
Fuck that. We're not in the step in right direction. We're in the step in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's some
2 people
bullshit.
is nothing. That's worthless. That's disgusting. Only 2
Ah,
people
shit
out of the
has
6 people
changed.
that were there.
And this is going off of your point, Josh. This is what should happen. The moment I hear suicidal thoughts, right? The police should not even be engaged. The police should direct them to a team that responds to certain mental health crisis. They need somebody that can like ask them questions, calm them down, get
Like
that
the ambulance
adrenaline.
or something.
It's like some sort of, like a task force.
Yeah,
You know,
they have.
I mean, there's
yeah,
EMTs, you know, you can send. Even
Like-
if it's like a dangerous situation, like, hey, cop, I could let that slide.
Yeah.
6. I'm sorry, Ricardo.
No, it's fine. I like talking about this. This is just how I feel. I would not, if I personally am breaking down, the last person I want to see is someone who can literally kill me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the last person that I would ever want to see.
Especially
I mean?
6.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And let's just put this out there. I talked about this on the podcast so many fucking times, but how about we just train the cops in that? You know how many
Yeah.
cases they have to go to where people are, that are adults, let's just keep that in mind, that are suicidal and, crazy, drunk, whatever you want to call it, but they have to be trained to calm them down. That's a part of training. Why is that not a bigger thing? Why is that not the huge thing? You have to know how to defuse the situation. I mean, there's specialists out there for that. Yeah, but you should at least have some knowledge of it to where it's like, okay, this kid's acting crazy. What do I do? Let's put her in handcuffs. Let's make the situation even more tense. And then when she obviously, for a good reason, starts kicking and screaming because she doesn't know what the fuck to do, she's like, I just want my dad. That's all I care about. And they're like, nope, pepper spray. All right, that'll shut her up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a lack of care. It's a lack of everything, of morals. It's so hard to even look at. I mean, like, it's gross.
Yeah,
And I was telling off of the, and I'll let you guys go after this. This was after another episode we were talking about with the whole defund the police situation. And I'm like, think of it like this. The requirements to be a police officer. If you don't know psychology, sociology, human behavior, if you don't know criminology, how people respond to certain situations, when you talk about cognitive behavior and the mental illnesses that come with that, if you don't even understand that, I don't even want you acting like you can deal with human behavior. And that's number one. And number two, I was reading this tweet on Twitter, and I was just telling my mom about this. When we say the word trained, I think they are trained to deal with certain situations differently for certain people. And what do I mean by that? If that was the police officer's daughter, I guarantee you he would have responded differently. If the person was white,
he would have let her spit on him, kick him, punch him.
So the thing is that, and Ray said it perfectly, the system is letting them get away with it. There's loopholes. There's been loopholes for centuries, right? We act like they're not trained. They're mostly trained. If not, I'll give you, there's some situations where it'll be like 50-50. Like you don't know what to do. And sometimes you rely on instinct. I get all that. But what I won't do is act like there isn't ignorance, right? Like, you know what you did. You're going to be held accountable for this. Like, there should be no instinctual reaction to a 9-year-old kid. Oh, pepper spray. What? Guys.
It's wild.
Guys.
Right,
It's like there's no empathy. There's no empathy because it's not a 9-year-old girl. It's a threat. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This article that had the video is looks like it's 3 or 4 days dated. Apparently, there is a response from the mayor of Rochester. She said that she has directed the chief of police to conduct a complete and thorough investigation of the incident, and she welcomes the review of what happened by the city's police accountability board. After Monday's officer suspension, she said what happened was simply horrible. Unfortunately, state law and union contract prevents me from taking more immediate serious action. Loopholes, like you said, Ricardo. New York Attorney General Lolita James, I think that's how you say her name, in a tweet Monday said in a tweet Monday that her officer is looking into the incident as well. What happened in Rochester on Friday is deeply disturbing and wholly unacceptable. Such use of force and pepper spray should never be deployed against a child, period. My officer is looking into what transpired, but it's clear that drastic reform is needed at the Rochester Police Department, James said. Governor Andrew, I don't even want to try to butcher that name, said in his state and across the nation, the relationship between police and community is clearly not working. You think Rochester needs to reckon with a real police accountability problem, and this alarming incident demands a full investigation that sends a message this behavior won't be tolerated, he said. And that's all we got so far.
Well, I mean, you know, we said what we said. I mean, it ain't much. I mean, we can go.
Then on top of that, at the end, they talk about like, it is clear from the video that we need to do more in supporting our children and families.
What is there to even like discuss though? Like, they're making it seem like they got to review some things. And what is there to discuss? A 9-year-old.
The way they not fired.
But the problem is that there's
way to cover up their ass.
I mean, do we really got to tell you don't pepper spray a 9-year-old? I mean, that's not.
It's
don't even harm a 9-year-old.
6 officers.
They harmed bro. That shit.
Yeah, that's just going to scar her the rest of her life. She's 9 years old.
With mental disabilities, and you think that's going to go over well? You think that like the suicidal 9-year-old is going to get better after this?
Right. I mean,
that's years of therapy. That's years and years of it, and people don't come out of that shit. And it's just and they're talking about like, oh, we need to do more in supporting our children and families, and it's like, we're not even talking about this at this point. I mean, like, yeah, we definitely need to do that, but that's on the back burner.
Right. I mean, this is simple shit. This is the 1 + 1. I mean, So, well, for our next topic, though, man. I mean, we pray for the young lady, the little girl, man.
Yes, and her family.
Hope somehow she can recover. Yeah.
Justice gets out of this. I hope those people rot in jail.
Absolutely.
They never see the light of day. Just keep them in solitary confinement. I don't care. Pepper spray them. Honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Hold them up in a line and just beat them down and put them in handcuffs and put their faces in the snow. See what that feels like.
Man, you know what? We had our conversation. Maybe it would be better if cops didn't have guns and they had to use hands to arrest people. Yeah. See if they want to fucking handcuff a 6'5", 250 man. See what that's about. But for our next topic, man, when we were younger and our parents and stuff like that, with jobs and stuff, piercings and tattoos and different type of hairstyles were not a thing and not tolerated or allowed. But now as time is going on, we're seeing that that's not the case anymore. How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about people be like, oh, if you get a job, you got to be so professional and clean cut and everything? So what do y'all got to say about that? This is our last topic. We're gonna make this one good.
Oh, I'll keep the ball rolling. Well, I remember when we had another podcast and we said success is determined differently to many people. Being a professional is determined differently by many. In terms of, it could be in terms of your looks, it could be in terms of how you talk, right? It could be the way that you just walk. You know what I mean? The way you carry yourself, your persona, right? And I think that and I remember there was this one person I had a conversation with. They're like talking about tattoos. That's viewed as unprofessional, right? So many times, and not when you're going to an interview, you got to collar a shirt, you got to cover it up. You know what I mean? Because technically, when you're hiring, I could not give you a job just because I don't want to give you a job. I could say whatever I want, right? Like I could say, oh, this position's filled, or I don't like what you said, or I disagree with that. Like, but it could be in reality, they just don't like how you look.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's just how some jobs work. So it kind of forces you to try to act a certain way, or try to talk a certain way, right? So I just think that in terms of just being professional, everybody's different. Just try to learn people skills, communication skills. Don't go through an identity crisis. You could still be who you are, but hey, if the person wants you to, like it's a sales. If it's stupid, if they want you to, if your hair's too long, all right, put it up. If you know they don't like beards, shave it off. You know what I mean? Or else you just won't get the job, or else you won't get that opportunity to be at that place. You know what I mean? It's just tough because that's just the world that we live in, right? Whoever put that expectation on us, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we have to succumb to it. I'm saying that we just have to know what's expected of that certain situation. And if we don't want to get involved in it, we just don't. You know, that's pretty much that I'm saying. But just don't go through an identity crisis. Still try to be yourself, but try to learn new people skills. Try to learn new things about yourself and things like that. Try to be more presentable. You know, that's all that I'm trying to say.
I just feel like tattoos are obviously a big thing for me. I really like tattoos. I like having them. I plan on getting a lot more. And that does not define me as a human being. And
Right.
these rules and everything like that need to go away, because it is a simpler way of saying, because you look a certain way, we don't think you can do this job. And to be honest with you guys, I mean, like in a harsher way, it's been happening to all of you for as long as time. You know, how many times have you heard about people being denied jobs because of their race, just in general, or because they're female, you know, or something like that? That's a harsher way of saying it, but starting with the simple things like this is a really big step in the right direction. I'm going to say this till the day I die. I changed the rules at my work because I constantly spammed the corporate office with emails about my tattoos. And I wasn't lying when I said these things or whatever, but when I first started there, I had to buy like athletic armbands or whatever so that I could cover up my tattoos, so I didn't have to wear a long sleeve shirt, because it's, 150 degrees back there at times, especially with the fryer and everything running constantly every day, and I couldn't do it, and I was constantly emailing them and was like, look, these tattoos, yeah, they're a part of me. They're not disrespectful. They're not on my face. They're not demeaning me in any way. They're not making me look like a thug or anything like that. I don't have tattoos of naked girls. I don't have demonic symbols or anything like that. So what is preventing you from letting me have this little thing? No one notices my tattoos unless if somebody is legitimately looking for them. I don't even notice my tattoos anymore. They've been on my skin.
I remember that's how I saw you at the theater. I looked at your tattoos. I'm like, that's you.
Right? Exactly.
But I didn't judge you for it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But people look at it, and that's how they make their judgment off of just first impressions. Right? A judgment was like, what, 10, 15 minutes? It's not going to be that long, but they think they know you after that long.
Exactly.
They know you. And like I said, it's just tough when you're dealing with that, because they could literally deny you based off of anything. Like, they could lie, but they could technically do that.
Yeah.
And you talked about your what you plan on doing, what we plan on doing for SHG. Guys, we're not going to deny people that right to enter just because of that. But we have to set that example for other people, because like I said, we're dealing with the system here. Yeah. Whoever said, I don't know, I might have to research it, because whoever said, it might even go back to the forefathers where they were all dressed up
No,
like
it goes
that.
back to religion.
I mean, shit, they ain't even had no swag. They trying to talk
What you
about
mean? Them
somebody
powder wigs is busting. You talking about?
and slave
Right,
teeth. Like, man,
who who set the standard for we have to look like
Telling you,
I'm like, who's did like
it's religious figures. I swear on my life, that's
I'm
who
pretty
originated
sure
it. Because a lot of times, especially in a lot of versions of the Bible, if you have anything that marks up your skin, piercings or anything like that, like you are a Satanist. You might as well call yourself one because you are sinning. You are destroying what God created. You are marking up your body,
there's
and God
Catholics
gave
out
you a
there,
perfect body. That's where it came from. That's where it stems from. And it kind of grew into this where, again, I don't feel like a lot of people are starting to think that way anymore. I've applied for a couple of jobs and I've been denied jobs, but I've covered up my tattoos every time just in case. But but that's like Ricardo was saying. I want them to judge me on who I am as a person. If they like, I've been denied from Verizon, all these other places, but they've had to tell me it's because, well, we don't think you're a good fit. And that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's okay.
Right.
My communication skills weren't good enough. I didn't have the right assets that you guys were looking for. That's fine. But you will not deny me because I have tattoos. You won't deny me because I have a nose piercing or I have an ear piercing or whatever it may be, because I have a lip piercing, eyebrows, whatever. It's just when it starts getting into the stuff that is offensive that I can get behind. There's people who have, like I said, naked girls on their faces, demonic symbols, scary shit, that people don't really like and people don't get. I get that because that is bad work ethic. That's making you look like a bad person. It makes sense when you think about it that way, but they could easily say that and allow tattoos. I had a discussion with one of my managers who I don't like, but I'll leave their name out of it. But they were talking to me about my moon tattoo, which if anybody, I can't do it. It doesn't matter. But it's a moon and it has a rocket going into its eye. And they were like, oh, well, that could be seen as, I forgot what she said. It was something like, oh, that could be seen as somebody wanting to kill somebody because that looks like a bullet. And I was like, how in any case does this look like a human being being killed by a bullet? It's a moon.
Reaching, bro.
It's a moon. It is not hard to define. It's not unclear. It's not faded or anything. It doesn't look like a person. It's a moon with a face that has a rocket going into its eye. If you are at least a little bit smart, you will realize that that is not that. And if you want to take it that way, that's fine. But I will have a easy defense and an excuse. I will pull up the movie that it's based off of, and I will show it to you. And this movie is on Netflix. It's rated G. I mean, like anybody can watch it. Kids, babies, whatever. You want to put your 3-month-old kid in front of it? Go ahead. It's weird. You wouldn't do that, but I mean, like you can do it.
Right.
There's no cussing. There's no bad shit in it or anything like that. But I have flowers. I have a symbol from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I have keys from a book. And that I'm planning on getting more that represent me as a person. It's what I like, the things that I like. I plan on getting a logo from an anime that I like on my leg. And it's just like that is the only one that I'm being a little conscientious about because it has like a depiction of what could be a pentagram.
What show?
You can go, Cam, and then I got.
No, I just got a question, Josh. What show?
High School DxD.
Culture, man of culture.
Yes, sir.
I mean, but I think people fail to realize, like, when people get tattoos, it may not be for everybody, but when people get it, it's to express themselves 9 times out of 10. When people get tattoos, some people get them just to get a tattoo, but when somebody gets a tattoo, it's a story. You're telling a story and you're trying to express it. That's just how they express it. Like, with me personally, like, I love it because I'm a tall black dude. People see me the whatever because I have tattoos. Kind of, I'm pretty tall. I mean, so that's people's first inception. But anybody that knows me, even like my managers, they'll come up to me and they'll tell me how hardworking, how motivated and dedicated I am and everything. Like,
yeah.
And anybody that knows me, like, I want the best out of everybody. Like, I just try and push everybody. I push myself. I mean, that's just what I do. And like, even at the service counter, like at my job, like I'll help somebody out, speak polite, have manners, everything. And then they'll see me when I reach the end of the thing and I got this big tattoo of a lion with a crown on my arm, and their
Right.
face kind of changes a little bit. Because that's a tattoo does not mean you're a bad person or you're
No.
disrespectful. You just describing yourself. That's just simply what it is. All the tattoos I have are meaning to me. There's something that's meaningful, and I don't get a tattoo unless I feel moved by something.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't think people should have to cover up or piercings or anything like that. People should be able to express themselves.
So, Kyler, what about freedom of expression? What are we dealing with then? Freedom of
What you
expression.
mean?
Think about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the freedom of expression, which is the First Amendment right, if I recall. But like I said, you know what I mean? That technically doesn't matter to some people because they view that as something different, even though that's completely what it is, right? So, and then I was telling Josh, it's like, look, right? Just don't let this experience define you, right? Like he's still going to get tattoos, right? I assume Kyler is too. You know what I mean?
I got two on my leg. I got two on my arm. I got one.
Right.
I'm gonna get more. I'm not gonna do nothing extreme with the face or nothing.
They'll have the restrictions. I remember at the sales. I mean, guys, why do you think this whole beard is here? They told me
exactly.
They told me to shave every day.
I agree.
I was like, I'll give you something to shave. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding. But that was the thing though. I didn't let it define me because the moment I got out of school, I'm letting it grow. It's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
Right. The thing with Josh is that he has to go by the rules and such, but he's not going to let it define who he is. That's all that I care about.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't let people control you in a sense to where you have some identity crisis. That's all that I care about.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. If that's the rules, okay. So what? That's like you walk in somebody's house and they tell you to take your shoes off. You don't take your shoes off and they're yelling at you. I mean, it's their rules.
Right.
But I mean, to an extent, like it just sucks that people have to hide that or whatever because that's just the culture of what's deemed acceptable, which is slowly starting to change. I mean, shit, I seen a dude at one of the makeup places my girl go to. This man had tattoos on his neck, his head,
for sure.
and was doing makeup on women. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you just, it is what it is. Yeah.
It's freedom of expression. I mean, plain and simple, you know, it's just like you should have the right to express yourself. And again, I'll go back to it every time. If you are doing something that to the company looks bad, yeah, cover it up. I agree with that 150%. If you got a nasty tattoo that says fuck you or something like that on your knuckles, cover that up.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that, or somebody killing somebody on your neck or something, cover it up. You know, it's not good work ethic. It's not good for the environment of the place. We're not trying to put that onto our customers. And I get that. But it's just like, just because you have tattoos, if you have colored hair or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just your choice of how you want to look. If people want to come in and decide whether or not they like you based off of that, they're bad people. It's the same. Like I said, it's the same thing as judging somebody by their skin color or anything like that. You're making assumptions based off of how somebody chooses to appear to you. I go to the grocery store. I go to all kinds of places, and I'm in my shorts and my flip-flops. And I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm pretty sure all these people are like, he's deadbeat, he's poor, whatever you want to call me, that's fine. But you're making judgments based off of how I look. I choose to go to the store like that because I'm not planning on being here for a while. I don't care what I don't care if anybody looks at me. I'm here to buy some milk.
Right.
You know, and that's it. I'm getting in my car and I'm leaving. You know, I don't want to be out of the house. I like my flip-flops. I like my shorts. You know, I'm trying to be comfy, but like, I get it, you know, and I know that everybody here is guilty of it. I'm sure that you guys have looked at people and been like, oh, that's weird. That's a choice, you know, and that's fine. But you don't go up to them and be like, yo, why the fuck you look like that, man? You know, but hey, why you got colored hair, bro? You know, you're never going to get a job, right? You know,
hey, 6-year-old kids will do that though.
I know.
6-year-old kids are the most honest. Yeah, they the most honest. They'll tell you if they say it, it's the truth. They'll get on.
Uncle Cam, you stink.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's you're never safe from kids, man. That's the worst part. I went over to my friend's house in Pennsylvania, and his little brother called me fat, and I was like, "That's fucking funny, dude." He was like, "Oh, is that your fat friend?" And I was like, "Yeah, it sure is." I would crush that little kid next time I see him.
Hey, Tyrell and Cam, man, what y'all got, man?
I mean, like, if it's something that's like, say, with piercings, if it's something that isn't like a health hazard in any way. Say like food service, like maybe you got like a fresh piercing, and maybe it's dripping a little bit, could get some of the food. I can see how that could be some concern, but like a tattoo,
Yeah, right.
even then though, like I love COVID kind of because like you can wear masks and shit to cover that shit up. So, that
Yeah.
shouldn't even fucking be a problem. But like expressing yourself, if you don't, even if someone doesn't understand it, that doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
The kind of clientele that you would come in and then like they would refuse service because the person serving them has piercings, has tattoos, or has colored hair. Like, do you really want to be serving that kind of person? Is that the kind of company culture that you want to promote? I feel like that should be the real discussion that should be being had. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, y'all covered all of it. Y'all never leave me anything to talk about.
Yeah.
That's something else I want to cover.
Selfish.
Yeah, y'all gotta me go.
Y'all
Y'all gotta let
We
me
gonna let
go
y'all
first,
start
man. This ain't
talking
fair.
Yeah, we gotta let y'all go first.
I like this topic because I got dreads, so
100%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you probably get it a lot.
I kind of feel y'all on the tattoo part and employers and all that stuff, and that's another reason why I'm so inspired to be my own boss, because I don't ever want to cut my hair off. You
Sure,
feel me?
for sure.
So I definitely
Gives
feel
you
y'all.
something to look
But
forward to.
another thing, and Josh kind of touched on this about him going to a grocery store and whatever he wanted to. I don't ever think that people are always going to judge you off your looks,
Yeah.
and like 70% of your interaction with somebody or how they remember you is off of the first time they meet you. You feel me?
Right.
It's the first time that you say hi to them and introduce yourself. Your first impressions are everything. You feel me?
Yeah.
So even though it's fucked tattoos and dreads and skin color and many other variables determine someone's impersonation of you, I just think that's just the way it is. But I
Yeah.
also think that we need to move towards like letting people express themselves. Like if someone got a tattoo, you feel me? Like you said, don't be extreme with it, but tattoos are a way of expressing yourself. Your hair is
Yeah.
a way of expressing yourself. I don't think you should be limited on that from high school to an employer.
Right.
But that's just what it is. Like I don't even think it's gonna change anytime soon. That doesn't even
It's history,
like
man.
kind of like what you said. If you got shoes on in someone else's house and they tell you take it off, it's their house, bro. It's their rules. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, what the hell you gonna tell you? Fuck you, no, I'm wearing shoes
Right.
on your road.
I mean, you could, but you're just not being invited back.
Yeah, this ain't the Chappelle show.
Nigga, fuck your yes, sir.
And the most important thing to take out of this is if somebody's doing that and you don't feel comfortable, just leave. I mean, like, no job is permanent. I mean, like, yeah, if you like it enough, yeah, it can be permanent. That's good. If you love your job, keep it. But I mean, like, if you feel like you're getting to the point where they're just telling you how to live your life, basically, get out of there. Even if, I mean, like, if they would have told me that when I interviewed at my job and they're like, hey, we don't allow tattoos here. You can't work here unless if you have tattoos. I'm like, okay, bye. I don't care. I'll work somewhere else that allows tattoos. It's just like, it's not that big of a deal. I understand that places are different. I understand that people have different rules. It's the same thing like going in the house and taking your shoes off. If you really don't want to do that for some reason, leave. They can't tell you not to leave. They're like, take your shoes off. And they're like, no, I'm leaving. And they're like, wait, you gotta take your shoes. You can't leave. You can't leave.
Stay.
I mean, like, they're gonna be like, okay, bye. They might see as like, that's kind of weird, but I mean, it when it all comes down to it, it's not going to be any different. If you want to leave your job 2 weeks in because they're like, hey, we see that you got tattoos and we don't like them, it's just like, okay, bye. That's really unfortunate because I liked working here, but if you guys want to be like that, then be like that. I'll leave.
Hey, Tyrell.
Yeah.
St. Vincent St. Mary's probably delivered LeBron with that exact same message. He was choosing between Actor and Bookdale and St. Vincent St. Mary's. And St. Vincent St. Mary's is like, you ain't playing basketball here unless you cover up all your tattoos, right? That's why when you see LeBron's high school highlights, he's got all these pads on because he's covering up his tats. You know what I mean? And it's literally like unbelievable. As great as he was in high school, they still tried to put a limit on his expression because of the tattoos. You know what I mean? Like literally.
But now, yeah. But I was just saying, but now you see how important it is because you kind of look at it. You can look at it this way and how it's negative, like how we like, damn, this shit sucks. But you can look at it because it can be a blessing because he's a pioneer. Look at all the high schools now that all the high schoolers is tattoos covered up, leg sleeves, arm sleeves, playing sports, football, basketball, don't got to cover it up. And that's why it's so important for us to be pioneers. If I get in my field, what I want to do, Ricardo gets in his job, Ray, Tyrell, Cam, we get in our film, we all got our dreads, tattoos, whatever, and we working our ass off, and we showing them that, hey, this don't define us, the tattoos, whatever. It's just an expression. That opens the opportunity for so many other people because they like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't look past it because these people got these same things and they working their ass off. So it's kind of a blessing, and this is an opportunity for us to be pioneers and break the mold for everybody, to give everybody a chance. And at the end of the day, shit, we all aspire to have our own thing. At the end of the day, we have our own thing. We make our own rules. Can't nobody say shit. That's what everything. So I mean, and then you can make this relation with Black people. You know, we have a lot of problems and complain about a lot of things, and we have a right to because shit's fucked up for us.
Yeah.
But if we have our own shit, we're our own boss. Ain't nobody tell us nothing. We can make our own mold for everybody in our own way, and just set an example. So I think that is a positive way we can look at it. Is we can be the changers, definitely,
for sure.
So if anything else, Tyrell, go ahead, man. You ain't say nothing
because y'all hung all the good shit.
We let you talk the last couple times. We get in there, say something. You got something, man.
I was trying to have Tyrell hop in there when I was mentioning you a couple minutes ago about.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah,
it's all good, man. You organic right now because I don't have the gallery view on, so it's like, oh man. You know, I didn't think you guys were here until like 20 minutes ago.
I wasn't here till 20 minutes ago, so I understand the confusion.
We're here.
Go ahead. Am I the last person?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Close us out strong, man.
All right, man. Let me flex real quick. Nah. All right, okay. If you got tattoos, if your hair long, if your hair is orange, purple, green tail,
magenta, big magentas in the chat.
Yeah, that too. And people judge you. Who gives a damn? If it makes you happy, keep doing it. If the job don't want you, fuck them. You gonna find something to do.
Yes, sir.
It's 2021. People don't really give a shit, really. Well, that I know of, but man,
it's getting better. You're right.
Yeah. If you want to cover your nipples with tattoo shit,
man, I hope nobody's seeing that.
and see, they complain about that on the job. You getting fired for a different reason.
You are.
No, I'm just saying some joke, but yeah, man. Like I said, it's 2021. Just be yourself. Fuck them.
You know what? Hey, that's the new thing for 2021, man.
Fuck them.
Hey, that's just what it is. Literally. Listen. Hey, I think that was a hell of a way to close out the episode, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to thank all my guys for being here today, man. All 6 of us, man. We working on this in-person thing, man. We promise.
Yes,
We promise.
Yes,
we're going to keep putting out, man. Keep comment, liking, sharing, subscribing. We appreciate all the love and support we get. We're gonna keep doing this, man. Yeah, shit. Anybody got anything else to say?
Viewers, the sports talk videos are coming. I'm gonna spiel about 3 or 4, right? We're gonna talk about the downfall of Ohio State in the championship. How did they lose? What are we looking forward to next year? We'll talk about the Super Bowl. What do I expect there? I might even hint a little bit of hockey. Hockey just started, all right? The NBA All-Star Game is coming up. I'll give you guys a few videos. And yeah, like I said, we'll go from there. So thank you guys for being patient. It was not a one-off. I'm going to try to keep going. It's hard to balance it with school. So, but I'm up for it.
Yeah. Hey, y'all heard it, man. We got more heat. And I got something. If y'all don't, go ahead. I just want to say this thing. If you don't like us, if y'all don't want to comment, y'all want to like, subscribe, Y'all heard my man Tyrell. Fuck him. That's
We
what
have-
we want.
Hey, it's 2021, man.
Can I get it one more? Can I get it one more?
Fuck
Yeah,
'em.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey,
Go
fuck
ahead.
him.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, my nigga.
Off.